Alright, hello everybody. Let's see if this works at 60 frames per second. Chances are a new retro. I don't think the overhead is set at 60. It's going to be doing 30 into the card. But this camera here should be 60, so it should appear clearer. Don't know what the microscope's going to be. The microscope, I'm pretty sure, is a fake 60. It's a good camera, but I suspect it's just simply double pumping the same frame. So I don't think we're going to actually see genuine 60 on that one. Okay, full house. Alright, now my CPU is 21% and I'm doing about 9 megabit per second on the stream, so I'm pretty happy with that. Hey Ed Boss. Alright, let's see if the microscope, like I said, I'm pretty sure the microscope just double pumps. I don't believe it's true 60. I should actually check the parameters. But actually, come to think of it, I don't even get a choice because it's straight out of the capture card. And the capture card just follows along with whatever is being pumped out to it. So I suspect this is going to be still 30. Yeah, it sure looks like 30. As the reason why I want 60 is because when you go back to... There's just a degree of clarity that comes with 60 over 30, and it's kind of useful when you're working on the equipment, because many a time as you're moving stuff around, you tend to exceed... It blurs things out at 30 that you really perhaps wanted the details on when you're going back and looking over what you did. It looks sharper. Okay, well, definitely got 1080. Yeah. So yeah, it was pretty amusing, new retro. When you mentioned that, I had just finished typing in because I did a apt search VAAPI, and I noticed that there was a non-free package for it, and I thought, you know what, that's probably going to be the one that lets me use it, and I installed it, and then your message popped up on the phone saying exactly the same thing to try it, and I was like, aha. Maybe I am actually onto something here. The colours seem better. Okay, oh, cool. And, okay, again, nothing so far looks like this should be 60 frames per second right here. Hey, Rob Brown. Catherine, let's see, what's that? Because I actually did end up ordering one of those T400 cards anyway, just to see how they turn out. And at least the nice thing with the T400 is, it's going to give me all digital outputs, whereas I'm currently running a VGA output, which is kind of lame. But yeah, I don't know if this 4K, because it's a 4K camera, but I would have thought maybe I can check and see if the overhead gives me options. Let's see. Yeah, everything's upside down, I know. Set up. Everything's upside down for me as well, by the way. And it seems like I've lost that. Menu. Recording setup. Yeah, I cannot seem to find the frame rate on this camera. I'm not sure if it actually supports it or not. I mean, it's a good camera, 4K. This is from Jim. Destruction manual. Next time buy an Australian one, yeah. Let's see. Oh, it will do 50 frames per second. Okay, that's on the AVCHD. So it's kind of curious whether the capture card will actually make that shift, or whether I'm going to have to move to 50 frames per second overall. Because I think maybe the webcam can do 50. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to set that up. You might need to set the camera to NTSC. I hope not. So what have we got? This is more the recording format, but you see I need what's coming out of it. So I don't know if it's going to... Yeah, I don't know if I can set the output to be that way. Oh, it's got MP4 at 50 as well. But yeah, I don't know if that applies to the actual output it's generating. I'm really not sure. Yeah, that is true, Osis. Select a mode. Yeah, crikey. Ow. Oh, damn it, that hurt. I've got it inflamed on my thumb down on the side of the nail. I don't know how it happened, but it's really been bugging me for the last week or so. Anyway. Let's try it again. I'm just going to try the different menus. Menu. Set up. Display, clock, set world time, date time, date format. I doubt it's going to be in here, but we'll see. It's got external displays off, that's interesting. HDMI resolution might be in here, maybe. No, it looks like we've got 1080p or I, but not actual frame rates. Bugger. Oh, okay, record format. Let's try MP4. Record mode. Oops. I've got that one there. MP4 blah 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 is suitable for PC. I don't know what that said then. Yeah, it's got 4K. And what do you know? That is actually, that's 50 frames per second, that is. Yeah. So that's 60, and that is 50. Hello, 50. Now it's just the microscope camera that needs to be upgraded. And we're still at 22% on CPUs. That's actually pretty bloody good going. So I guess the question is, what does YouTube actually say? YouTube should still be reporting as 60. But yeah, that's quite nice that the capture card is doing the translation for me from 50 up to 60. Jim, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to worry you there. I mean, I knew it was a good camera, but I just wasn't sure what the specs, what its behavior was for higher frame rates, that's all. Yeah, it'll be 1080 60 on... Seriously, John, yours is saying 50? Man, that's interesting. Oh, I was going to say... Crikey, people give me heart attack. Now, I suppose, of course, the new question is, what do I do with the $650 US on YouTube? Not on YouTube, on Amazon. Oh well. That is the only trouble if you do Amazon affiliates and you're not a US person, then all your income is generated as Amazon gift certificates. So you can only, you just build up gift certificate income on Amazon. That's how sometimes you don't know what to spend it on. I know it sounds silly, but it's legit. Right, so now I've got a $200 graphics card coming that I probably don't really need, but I may still use it for something else. Buy John Wick a new puppet, but then would miss out on all these awesome movies. Perhaps a pair of shoes? No. I already get them anyway. I already spend quite a bit on shoes, proper shoes for walking and jogging and stuff like that. Not dress shoes. Alright, let's get this machine together anyway. I got the T400, the NVIDIA T400. You could order goods you need anyway. Yeah, man, I was thinking of things like perhaps I could have got the what do you call it? The micro pencils. That would have been good. In fact, maybe I could just still buy a bunch of micro pencils and handles and things like that. But the biggest drama tends to be the fact that you have the issue that you don't want to. You want to buy something that you hopefully never have to send back, that doesn't have dependency on your region, your voltage, or anything like that. So yeah, buying computer equipment was kind of a tolerable option, like buying an Intel CPU. I've still got to get a gaming machine anyway. Upgrade the scope cam. Or a trolley. Yeah, not the trolleys, the shipping would be too high. But the scope cam's an option. I'm not really sure what scope cam to go for. I mean, I'm very happy with the one I have. And it's an exceptionally good one. Obviously, sans the fake 60 frames per second. Like I said, I'm almost 99% sure it's double pumped. How's the new house thing going? Well, I'm sort of running out of energy to do the house thing. Psychological and physical energy. But trying to get there. It's just, I get up and I already feel weary by the time I wake up. What GPU do I have? I've got no GPU. This is running off the Intel. This is using the VAAPI system, which I thought I did have in the past, but it would appear that the free version of the driver did not in fact allow me to do what I'm doing now. Motorized screwdriver, oh god no, I hate those things. They're great for doing, like if you're doing PC builds or anything like that, that's fine. But for this sort of work, no thanks. I'm much faster using normal, normal manual screwdrivers like these Wera than if you had to have an electric one. Because you got to change the tips. There's like 4 or 5 different screw sizes. It's just impractical to use an electric one for this sort of work. The brightness needs a bit of work. What I'm going to do about the brightness with the overhead is I have a wood panel that I will be installing. Is it just for Amazon US? Or it's I only get US Amazon gift certificates, because that's where the affiliates works through. Okay, no, you are not the right one. Andrew Hughes, you don't even like him for PC repairs. Okay. I mean, I've got a few different electric screwdriver, drill drivers, etc. A couple of Makita ones, different sizes, different power outputs, and they're great for a lot of things. Well, I really don't wear out too quickly when doing individual computers. The only time I found them to be what I needed was like when I used to be like assembling 10 computers a day or something like that, and then you really do want a electric driver. Motorized is good for long screws, yeah. Well, maybe if you do damage to an iPhone 6, you can do long screw damage with it. I wonder if Jason Vilma's going to turn up. Let's see, I'm going to say his name 3 times. Jason. SDS Telecom. SDS Telecom. Are you there? He's not going to turn up this time. I have to do something actually with iPhones to get him to arrive. But it works surprisingly often. Like, he turned up last night when I was making some sort of mock comments about him. I can get delivery to Australia, that's not a problem. I've just got to find products that I'm willing to buy in the US Amazon. Will you be doing a build stream of a new one? Possibly. I mean, don't get me wrong, I just don't really... building PCs is just like, well, it's kind of like a simple Lego set. Put the RAM in, put the CPU in, put the power supply in, put the mainboard in, connect the cables, away you go. I've never really had an affinity or an understanding as to the interest in watching the builds. I guess the problem there is that when you spend many years, day in, day out building PCs, you kind of lose the the interest. Right, this here on the other hand is a machine I'm setting up for a customer. As in, they're buying this one off me. Unfortunately, I didn't have a main board that I wanted for them, so we had to take a bit of a compromise there. I wanted a 165 main board for this, but I had to use it for something else. So instead they get a 3437, but they needed a machine, and quite frankly, even the 3437s are perfectly good. It is kind of funny, like you got this 2013, 2014 machine, and it still runs perfectly well, and yet people usually act pretty surprised if you're still running something like a Core 2 Duo or something like that on a PC laptop. Not to mention PC laptops of that era are generally pretty chunky, ugly things. Prefer the control you get for hand screwdriver. That is true, yes. If you're dealing with something that's going to have soft threads on it or such, definitely. Then you can be your own torque limiter, and you can go click, pretend you're making that noise. At least it won't come back for blown PCH. Yeah, that's precisely right, Miles. Precisely right. Hi, g'day Sonia. Welcome. Good to see you here. So I guess I pretty much can erase that video, or maybe I'll just update the comments and, you know, explain the solution that was found. But certainly when I tried it, when I originally got this setup, because this setup was kind of forced on me, it wasn't my personal choice, but there was an issue with the machine that a customer wanted, and I ended up just taking this one because, well, I didn't want to cause any drama. And I had to end up giving them a 6th generation one, which of course cost more than the 8th generation at that time, but it was needed because they still wanted to run Windows 7 without issues. That was my fault. Okay, let's see if this thing even turns. Oh, it does turn on. Cool. Paul Howe, you got your Windows 11 update. I haven't tried that yet. I haven't had an opportunity. Hey, B-Dog. It's funny, a lot of people out there, you know, it's Wednesday, but for here in Australia, it's Australia Day. It's the day of being a butthead patriot sort of thing and ignoring pre-colonial past and all that sort of stuff. But you know how when you get a midweek holiday, it completely throws out your perception of time. So I'm thinking it's like a Sunday night or something like that. Okay, oh yeah, there I've got trackpad. Let's see, what is this? This is Mojave, I think it is, I installed. Yeah, Mojave. So yeah, this is a 1.44, so it's pretty low end, 3437, but it does a decent enough. Yeah, I mean, look at that, that's comes up quick enough. Set as default, use Chrome. Looks like it's found the time, is that right? Yep, so it's now Thursday morning. Storage. It's only a 120 gig drive, but it's fine. Now, Mick, where are you in Australia? You're obviously somewhere down south, I'm guessing. Okay, so we've got 100% battery. What's that icon? Oh, great. It's trying to connect up to my TV in the lounge room. No thanks. Shut down. So this will be fine. I'll just bundle it with the 45 watt MagSafe 2. Should be good to go. The nice thing is, if anything goes wrong with it, I'll actually be able to give them more support than what they'd ever get from Apple. Newcastle, between Newcastle and Sydney. Okay. I thought Newcastle and Sydney by now had pretty much merged together, but obviously not. Just the rate those cities are growing. It's only southern edge of Lake Macquarie. Now that's a place I actually do know, Lake Macquarie. Don't know why I know it, but I do know it. Alright, so that's one customer machine, which is Probably not a bunch of money for me, but it's money. And what have I got here? Okay, this is warranty job machine. This is the one we did last night. That was the SMC. Okay. So we just have to do the same thing. Reassemble this one. I know it's boring, but yeah, this is what you got to do every day, off camera. Because someone's got to do it. Someone's got to rebuild these machines. Let's see how. Hopefully, it got all the flux out from under the SMC. Now, the pumping noise was my compressor, air compressor. Yeah, that's definitely not 60. What I can do is see if the microscope camera will actually allow me to try and do something like that. Let's have a quick look. All I have to do is plug the mouse in. Alright. Power frequency is 50. Oh wow, that changed weirdness. See, global auto white balance. Manual white balance? That's terrible. I better not use manual white balance. I'll probably stuff that up. But I can't see anything here on the camera control panel regarding frame rates. So, yeah, I'd say it just pushes it out at fake. Yeah. Pretty sure they're the only menu options I have. Yeah, this stuff here is just for rotating, freeze, division. That's grainy as hell. Yeah, so no options there. And that's unfortunate because this is a nice sensor that is on it. So, kind of up the creek there. So maybe I will look at that. Yeah, it's a little 3-litre airbrush compressor. It's not a big one. Okay, the only other part we changed was... there's a bit of gunk around that, unfortunately. Sometimes that happens. We'll just give it a little bit of a clear up. We won't be able to make this perfect, and we're not going to try to, but we will just try and get the bulk of that excess out of there. Hey Rilla, how are you today? I don't know why I'm being this pedantic, honestly. I'm only using 250 to heat this up. Because I won't be able to sleep otherwise. That pretty much sums it up, yeah. That's tolerable. Focus isn't. That's better. It's looking a little on the reddish side compared to what it really is. Might just fix that. Naturally, of course, after I've messed with the white balance. So we'll just fix that back up. Drop the red a bit. No, oh god, no. $24, $12, $27. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. Yeah, that's what I see on the screen is a lot more like what I see in real life. So, but of course the trouble is my screen is probably not a proper. It's probably not properly matched. So what you end up seeing is going to be different yet again. And of course your screen won't be properly matched. So it's a whole big cluster. I'm just going to put down lots of thermal transfer compounds so people go Ree! Not that many people seem to do that on this channel. Get them brown. The sharpness is too sharp, you start to see bright edges, yeah, transition edges. Oh, Didamraz is here. Hello, Didamraz. Okay, so we do the squish and spread method. That gives us a very nice vacuum tight sort of seal with a very thin layer of thermal transfer, maximizing the coolness, all without resorting to crazy thermal compounds. Yeah, really, I'm doing happier now that I've got my 60, 50 frames per second, all without upgrading my hardware. Of course, I did order a video card, so that's okay. That's okay. It's worth it. I may use it in something else, although I don't imagine the T400 has a lot of performance outside of, sort of say compared to the internal GPU, but we'll see. But the nice thing is it does have the 3 DisplayPort outputs, which would be nicer than what this has got. Can you cancel it? Possibly. I doubt they've shipped it yet. But like I said, you know, if I paid that $200 for a graphics card and through the conversation will come to this solution, then it's still pretty much a win for me. So maybe I'll just do the graphics card as a giveaway. I do have some other giveaways, and remember, I think it's on the 28th, so that'll be the Friday, I will be drawing the winners of the Flex Board View. If you still haven't entered yet, then yeah, you need to enter if you want a copy of Flex Board View, or a chance to win rather. If it's something that you actually can make use of. You can also really give it to someone else if you win it and you think, well, you know what, I'm not going to use this, but I would like such and such a person to have it. Then I'm more than happy to do that. You just let me know who it's going to go to, and I will generate the license accordingly. You can probably chuck the GPU on eBay for triple the... Yeah, probably. People won't bother to look at the shops. They'll be just like, it's on eBay. It must be the cheapest. How are you recovering from the Lewis attack? When did Lewis attack me? I mean, was there... Which specific instance of Lewis attacking me are we referring to? Lewis has been pretty quiet on the attacking front. I think he's generally overwhelmed with his move, his politics, and everything else. He's a busy man, and busy people don't get to cause too much trouble. I think people seem to be using the T400 for a lot is transcoding on the Plex server or second code. I don't even know what a Plex server... I've seen it around, but I don't know what a Plex server is. Yeah, I know. I don't keep up with everything. It was a joke. I was talking about that. Oh, you know, damn it. You see, the trouble is, though, that Lewis does frequently have attacks, so it was one of those jokes that could have been real. I got a spare screw. No, I don't. There we go. I thought I had a spare screw, but I did not. But the head is actually going well. I have no dramas with it. It's working, or at least I think it's working. Healing up. Becoming less sensitive every day. And it won't be too long, and this bit of weird patch on my head should hopefully fade to obscurity. Didamra's streaming server in gen... Oh, okay, so that's alright then. Hey, creature. Spare screws are called profit. Oh, well, I'll be filthy rich then. Got heaps of them. Right, almost forgot to put the Wi-Fi cables in. Hopefully I will not see this again. And like I said, I will let can't speak. I will let the business know that, you know, this, strictly speaking, is not the same fault as to what it originally came in for 3 months ago, but I will admit that it may have been a delayed fault. It was weakened by the original fault, but it's not something I could have tested for. So you run this thing for a couple of days and it doesn't misbehave, then what are you going to do? Hold on to it for 3 months? Very lucky it was just a grazing glance and not more full-on blow. Well, I've had a full-on one in the past, many years ago, and 40 odd years ago, and that has definitely left a significant mark on my head, and I still feel it to this day. It's sort of like a great big lump that goes across a portion of my head. Sort of, it's basically from there to there. There's a hard lump across my head, and I also ended up with a pickaxe in the back at the base of the neck. So that was base of the skull. That was fun. Things you shouldn't do as a child. Okay, where is the... Oh, there it is. So dropping odd frames trying to type on your old rig. Oh, it keeps going back to... Oh, g'day, Tradie Trev. Self-hosted Netflix, is that what it is? Okay, I understand, yep. Ran into a scaffolding clip pretty recently, pretty much took me out. Oh, that's brutal. And I mean, those things, they're not going to budge much. Was it aluminium or something else? Wood? Creature, when will you take a holiday? Unlikely. come to Norway and not see any dangerous animals, not even probably no sun. Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah, there's nothing up there but snow, which is actually kind of nice, to be honest. Let's see. Kyoto Ken. As a child, my knees were always ground open. Oh yeah, I've got. I can't really say it. I've got scars all over my knees. You know, impalements, tearing them open. Yeah, just yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff when you're running around playing rugby. Not that I was a rugby fan, but yeah, when you're in grade 3 or 2 or whatever it was, I think it was grade 3 or 2, and your friends say, "You want to play rugby?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know what that is." And you're playing on. By the way, I'm doing this because it's got customer sticker on the bottom of the computer, so I can't show you what it is. Yeah, so we're playing rugby on this sort of dirt road that's just full of rocks and everything like that. And they throw the ball at me, and I'm like, "What do I do with it?" And they say, "You just got to run, we'll tackle you." And so, yeah, I run, but they tackle me pretty quick because I'm fat and slow. And then, yeah, I get up and there's blood all over my leg and from my knee, and it's, well, that's a good start. And I don't think I really cared to play rugby after that for a while, other than when peer pressure kind of pushes you back into it as you approach teenage years. Then you find you still don't like it. So instead you go to the far more graceful sport of grass hockey. I picked the lazy option and I became a goalie, which is good because you could kick the balls and you could just basically be completely insane as a goalie. The more insane you were, the better. Okay. Well, that's pretty dirty up top there. Might just give that a bit of a clean over. By the way, that noise, background noise you can hear, that's rain. It's been raining pretty good the last couple of days. Okay, I don't know if this is going to take it off, but we're using 80-20 here. But I get a feeling this is probably going to need more. So this is probably going to need more detergent, like soap or dishwashing liquid or something like that to lift it off, because it is more grease, human grease, probably. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Don't want to push our luck. "34 years, my scars on your knees are gone." Really? That's interesting. Let me just check, see if mine is still here. Yeah, I've still got my puncture one, and I've definitely still got my other one. I guess maybe sometimes you forget to check, and one day it's gone. Dratchev, I broke a kid's nose with a hockey puck. Oh. Yeah, see, we don't have ice hockey. We've got the hockey with a little wooden J stick sort of thing. And you run around back and forth up a field. Not as cool as ice hockey. Ice hockey is much cooler. Alright, well, it looks like hell has broken loose and this is not charging again. Are you freaking kidding me? What the hell? Alright, that computer did not come back to life. Is the DCM board genuinely stuffed? That is really annoying. This was the one that we replaced the SMC on last night. Metho. Well, 80-20 IPA usually should do the job. I do have Metho here. I do try to avoid using it for some things. Creature, a broken ankle. Why does Beanie Skates have a hole in what? Why does Beanie Skates have a hole in them that a stick oh, yeah. So you put the stick into the hole and caused someone to trip over and break their ankle, eh? That was smart. Alright, so what's going on here? The first thing we do is disconnect that battery. Well, this really suck eggs. This is what happens when you don't test for screwing it down. That is very true. Yes, very true. Oh, that rain is really coming down. What the flying feck? That is just bull. That is just bull crap. Great, this is going to be one of those hellish ones. Let's see, what do I want? Continuity mode, please. Oh, I've got no multimeter at all. Okay, multimeter. Take that SSD back out. I hope it's not the SSD that's done the damage. That'd really suck if the SSD has got a fault on it. Could be the keyboard, that's another possibility. MagSafe. Although the keyboard should not keep the current down to 0 almost. Yeah, we've got no MagSafe. We've got 13 milliamps. We're going to go for volts. See if we've got anything. I hope we haven't blown another SMC, because that's really going to be... Well, that's just going to tick me right off. 2.5. Oh dear God, no, not another SMC. Surely not. Is that the new OBS layout layer you're using with the new drivers? Not sure what you mean. Is this the same one that came into warranty? Yeah, well, it came back and they hoped it was warranty, but you know, it's questionable. Okay, we do not have a short on PB bus at least. I can't believe this. This sort of suckful luck is this. Put it in the bin and tell them buy an XPS. No, it does not work like that. Well, that rain is heavy. Rain that's too heavy gives me the heebie-jeebies because there's holes in my roof that have been there for a couple of years, and I'm thinking about all the build-up of liquid in the roof, and yeah, it's not a good thing. But I can't get my hands on a decent builder or roofer around here. You can get roofies easier than get roofer. Missing PS and continuity display. It should be up there now. It was more just a case of it hadn't booted up properly. Oh wow, and that rain's blowing in hard. We're gonna have another 6 weeks of rain and flooding. People in towns will be having PTSD right now. But that's no good. What in the flickety flick? Alright, Mr. Daniels is not happy now. Very not happy. Had PTSD of the record droughts you face in Germany. Well, yeah, we obviously here in Australia we get droughts are sadly a very common way of life, and we've sort of come out of a decade-long drought, but I thought things were good. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, we had a situation where I think it was about for 2 weeks non-stop. We had a low-pressure rain depression hanging over Townsville, and it just kept raining and raining and raining and raining, and it just wouldn't move. And so many areas in Townsville went underwater, being a coastal town, combined with some high tides and things like that. It was an absolute disaster. I think there's still plenty of people over there that have not managed to get their houses built back together, cleaned up. Hey, Gibbo. I'll be miffed if it's something that pretends to be an SMC issue but isn't. Because I usually throw out SMCs. Once I've replaced it and the board works, then you throw out the SMC that you replaced. Because otherwise you run the risk of picking it back up and thinking, hey, look, an SMC, and utilizing it, when really you should not. Alright, let's try this again. Better not be the PCH going crack crack. Although that typically displays differently. Nothing. What a load of crap. What a load of unmitigated crap. Well, this here is a random 3437 that also has just been fixed. Let's see how it behaves. And we're at 18 volts. Yeah, 5. Yep. Oops. And we instantly get green light. Okay, so that's all proper. So we know that that works. Hey, Toast Tech, how's it going? Sorry, Tony, did I miss a question there? The missing PS and continuity displays. I mean, there's, I don't know if that shows up on screen, but there's these. Is that what you're meaning? Like, here we go. These two up here. They were missing initially only because I didn't have them loaded. I apologize if I'm not understanding what you're saying. I'm not trying to be daft, it just comes naturally. I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna have a look. I know I blew out. What are the chances it still has some moisture under there? Very unlikely to have moisture because I blow it out with the air gun. Look, when I take these boards out of the ultrasonic cleaner and rinse them, after I rinse them, I blow them out with the air gun to blow out any water underneath the CPU, the SMC, the RAM, all that sort of stuff. And, you know, I've never had any troubles since then. Check around the part that I cleaned. Yeah, that's... I should do that. That is just weird. Learn you cannot do full 60 frames per second on the iGPU if you are using it to display your monitor due to a bandwidth limitation. Does that mean I should be not working here? Because I've got 3 screens here, using them all, and I'm doing 60 frames per second. See if we get any variation as this. It's all over the place. What's the chance I had 2 bad SMCs in a row? Or what is the greater chance that I'm actually blowing up SMCs? That is all over the place. It's like it dives down, comes back up. Dives down, comes back up. I'm actually not sure what to think about this one. Could the 342 driver damage the SMC? Yeah, it can. If something goes wrong with the feedback sense, it can push through a little bit too much voltage. Would Jim's FLIR help? Unfortunately not. At least I don't think so. Well, I'll give the SMC a flow and tap and see what happens. Or I'll just actually give it some heat to start with. See what happens. Oh yeah, I'm waiting for crypto to crash again. Like, I mean, okay, it's down a moderate way at the moment, but I'm waiting for at least another 50% drop. Like, I want to see LTC at around about $40 to $50. Yeah, if LTC gets to 30, then definitely a buy situation. buy a good, I don't know, 10, maybe 20 coins. As far as I'm concerned, it really is just playing. You're basically just playing poker with a pot of money and seeing who blinks first. Alright, heating up the SMC brought us back to life. That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. So do we have a damaged SMC, or do we just have some gunk under it? Again, that seems unusual given the sort of regime that I put them through with the cleaning and the cooking. Does this mean I need to redo the SMC? Ah, God damn it. God damn it. Oops, just killed myself. There we go. Maybe you got a bad solder connection, that's possible. I guess the thing I'm concerned about here is because this is a warranty-ish sort of job, or it is back here because it's failed again, even though it's not the same reason. The problem is I don't want to send something back that's going to be back yet again in 3 months, because that will really leave a bad, really a really bad impression. I think what I'll see, if I reflow this, I've got to wash it again. That's the problem. No, this is actually leaded solder. I reballed this one. This one's been reballed. So what I'm going to do is let it cool down, and it actually already is pretty cool. Cool. And I can try. Yeah, man, it just sucks, the idea of having to rewash this board, because it's actually already been washed once before already. Ken Reeve, yeah, there was that little bit of edge bonding, but it didn't seem like it had obstructed anything. Okay, let me just try the teeniest, tiniest amount of flux. Yeah, the edge bonding was right on the front right here of the chip. I mean, with crypto, if you're willing to play the game of poker with everybody else, then yeah, I mean, you can make a bunch of money. But I definitely think it's a case of, if you're going to put money into it, you need to be able to be willing to not claim that money for quite a while, if need be. Because if you need that money and you've got to draw on it, then yeah, that's where you're going to lose. Yep. Just trying to find my appropriate hook for this one, my appropriate half tweezer awl, but I might use this one. This is my intentional awl. It's just a stainless steel tip. Don't really know how it works. Such virtual currencies can go so. It's really just a simple case of people. It's a big fat pot. And people put in money into it, and then the supposed worth goes up. Okay, so we've got plenty of flux under there now. Oh, NFTs, yeah, I'm not touching NFTs with a 10-foot pole. And you know what? I may miss out or something, but it's still not something. I'm just not convinced about it. It really does seem even more flaky than crypto in the first place. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, crypto is basically just everybody puts money into a big pot, and then you're trying to convince everyone else to put more money into the pot so that you can take out a greater percentage, a greater actual value based on your percentage of ownership. What am I doing here? Ah, yeah, need some cool. I mean, I'm still participating in it, just in small amounts. But I do most of my sort of trading, gambling, as it were, through currency transfers rather than crypto. I've had much better luck with currency transfer. Well, that's up and running properly. The current's a little low, 385. That's the only thing that concerns me. 385 milliamp and it's blinking at me. Just feels a little bit, I suppose not intolerable, but god damn it. Yeah, the SMC doesn't look too bad there, but you know I'm just going to have to wash this board again. That really sucks. If only Apple had put some fuses between CPU and controller, you can remove them to test. Well, that they do. That's what with these things are. They've got the big inductors. You take the inductors off, and you're good to go. Tunmei, yeah, forex stuff, foreign exchange. It's a lot slower, but at least you will not typically get 20% swings in a period of time that's so fast that you can't even make your transfer. The only, of course, the big problem with forex is that you're going to be needing at least $10,000 to $20,000 transfers each time. Otherwise, you lose all your profits on the transfer, and you need to find someone who's going to actually do it at a decent rate. That's the other problem. Yeah, trying to find a decent exchange rate. Like it may initially seem like you're going to make a lot of money when you look at the actual posted buy-sell rates. But then by the time you put the money through, you find out you haven't. You can avoid blowing CPU. Well, I don't know if you can avoid blowing the CPUs, but certainly if you take those, the inductors off, you can. Or just take the controller off, although it may cause weird behaviors. Because, of course, there's all the sensing circuitry for the CPU current and CPU voltage feedback, so it may actually force it to shut down. Well, it would. Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking I might actually leave this till tomorrow morning when it's cold, like truly cold, and seeing if it misbehaves. It's definitely giving me the heebie-jeebies now because I don't know whether I've got another dud SMC or whether what am I dealing with here? It's one of those uncertainties, and it's something that can potentially keep me up at night. Okay, we've got a boot looper. We can always try that. That's a boot looper, so yeah. Let's see, donor with a bad CPU. What are you? So we've got this one here as well. These are 165s. Just trying to see how many 165s with SMCs I've got left. Definitely running low. 3437 I'm in pretty good shape so far as SMC stock is. What are you? 3437? Nope. Freeze spray. Now the only trouble with using freeze spray is of course you're going to induce a thermal shock, a severe thermal shock to the board. And so you may actually end up creating a new issue. I know it's less likely, but I guess it's a case of trying to minimize the issues that I'm creating while trying to fix. Ow! 165? Nah, damn it, no SMC on that either. Yeah, I've got a horrible feeling I'm down to about 2 SMCs. That is a very concerningly low number. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, what have we got here? Okay, we've got 3. I'm going to take it from this one. Even though, hopefully it's not liquid damage. That's the other beautiful thing, is you get these donor boards and you think, oh boy, donor board, use them for the SMC, and then you find out that they're delightfully liquid damaged right on the SMC, and so thank you very much. You just completely wasted my life there. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, well, that pretty much demonstrates my point. I don't know if it's liquid damage or whether it's just flux, awful flux. I think the reason why there was suggestion of using freeze spray was simply to be able to bring the board down to temperature, so that then we can evaluate whether it's going to fail or not. This is only 250 degree air, 250C, so it's not going to be causing any grief. Any advice? I want to learn Linux. I'm using Popos. What is Popos? I'm still not confident when I have to update stuff like dependencies. I guess what happens after a while when you're using things like Linux is at some point you sort of go, you know what, this is a load of crap in terms of having to micromanage everything, and you move to distributions like Ubuntu instead and go, you know what, you may not do everything perfect, but it's a damn sight easier to use than having to manage every single thing at such a fine level. Yeah, it's a personal thing. Like for many years, I think it was about 10 years, I used Slackware, and that was all good and fun, and there was a lot of stuff you had to manage directly. And then by then, obviously Ubuntu 6.10 or so was out, or 6.04 at that point, and I switched over to 6.04. It was around the time that Knoppix, the live CD Knoppix, had come out and completely sort of shifted the way we perceive how we do things. And while we don't really see Knoppix around much more, oh man, that is... Yeah, I don't imagine that's going to be a good SMC at all. I would say... Nay. I can't imagine this SMC being any good. It looks like it's been through. You never know. Clean it up and have a look. It's probably broken, but let's clean it up and have a look. Pop is based on Ubuntu. Oh, okay, so they basically take Ubuntu. So that's the other thing. There's a lot of these distros do work from a known sort of dependable distro. Strip out or add back whatever they want. Voila. Well, I figure, well, if they're going to do that, I may as well just stick with the core that they're using. And hey, yeah, hey babe. Oh, Momo. Oh, Loki's coming in. Sorry. Hang on there. I'll be back in a second. Hey. Obviously,
He's been sleeping with Luna.
Oh yes, on the couch.
Yeah, and then he woke up.
You go yowling out.
Yeah.
Mo, did you go yowling?
Yeah, really loud.
Yeah. Mo. Loki just go in there. Yeah. The computer job that I thought I'd fix for the warranty thing.
Yeah.
I plugged it all back in and it didn't work, and it was just like, I'm dead. And I'm like, son of a...
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry?
Sorry to hear that.
Ah, yeah, it's normal. Yeah, I mean, these things happen. He's gone all quiet now.
I've been trying to go to sleep.
Oh, sorry.
Got Lulu between the ankles.
Yeah.
Milo snuggle up here, and then this one walk in the halls.
What if you close the door for the short term so that they sort of settle down and then open it?
I'll try.
Okay. Alright, we're back. Yeah, we're just trying to discuss how to try and get some sleep in this household. When you've got as many cats as we do running around, they seem to take in turns. Like you get one to behave, or you get all of them to behave except one. And that one decides that it's going to yowl through the night, or yeah, it's going to be a mischief maker, or jump up on the bed, wake you up. It's such a pain. I don't think Elita and I, we have not had a decent 8 hours a night of sleeping for close to 3 years now, at the very least. It's just not something that happens. I think at the best we probably get a 4-hour run, and that's on a good night. Yeah, they pick. That's it. Basically, they draw straws on who's gonna be the living nightmare for us. Okay, since this looks like it's actually a sugar or some sort of liquid sugar sort of thing, I'm going to use some 80-20 to lift up the junk. There, it's coming off now. If you try to use pure alcohol on water-based liquid damage such as drinks, Coke and all that sort of stuff, you will be there for a very long time, because the alcohol will... Yeah, it looks like it's... Okay, this is a damaged SMC. I can see that. So it's going in the bin anyway. Hey, Atin. Alright, so the reason I know this is a damaged SMC is this region right here. On my surgical knife. Let's see if I can make it a little clearer for you. Just maybe put some flux on there and heat it up so it's a bit like a oil immersion. Yeah, that works. Okay, you can see there's a bit of weirdness going on around here. And what has happened there is that something's gotten in there, liquid or maybe heat within the chip itself, and it has begun to delaminate the layer under there. And while it might work okay for now, give it time and that delamination will grow and it will, yeah, the chip will get killed if it's not already dead. So we toss that out. As soon as we see that sort of delamination, it's a dead chip one way, yeah, regardless for me. Loss of sleep has to take its toll over time. Oh yeah, believe me, it really does. It significant health implications. We're acutely aware of it. We're just kind of without options, as it were. I mean, there are obviously options, but not options we want to or are willing to take. You know, some people say, well, why don't you just get rid of the cats? That's like, yeah, okay, sure. Why don't you just get rid of your children? You know, some options are just not options that you can take. It's a 6-month disposable SMC. That's the one, yeah. Okay, so we've got another one here. Let's see what we can do. Earplugs. It's not so much, I mean, earplugs can help. It's a case of, okay, say you wear earplugs, what they do is they'll just come up and they'll jump up on the bed. And then you go, well, okay, just lock them out. But the trouble is they'll make such a fuss at the door. You know, they'll bang on the door and then they'll probably disturb the others and then they'll do, just like with human kids, they'll do something really dumb. They'll go and smash something or whatever, and if you're not listening out for it, it can be a real disaster. So you kind of have to find a balance between reacting to them or responding to them and making sure they don't take over your life. And like I said, really, it's only one or two that cause trouble. Where's the 80-20 cleaner you use? Dave Harris, it's just 80% IPA, 20% water, that's it. That's all it is. I just mix it up myself. And it's not even extremely, how could you say, well-controlled ratios. It's just eyeballing it. But it's a real pain because we finally managed to get Milo to behave. He would constantly come along throughout the night and disturb me, bite my feet, things like that. And if you close the door on him, he would really chuck up a fuss outside. I mean, loud enough that it wakes me up even out in the hallway. It was a very loud. And we found that we were able to stop that behaviour just simply by waiting for him to come to us. He would come to us to say he's ready to go to bed. And when he does that, when he comes to you and like yowls at you and says, I want to go to bed, he will lead you into his room. He's got a room. He will lead you into his room and then you just stand there or sit there with him for a few minutes and let him, he'll get settled and he'll like paw you or just roll around and just settle himself in. And then when he starts to go to sleep, he doesn't have to be completely asleep, but when he just starts, at that point you can walk out and you won't hear from him then until the morning. So we managed to resolve that one. But now the other problem we have is Loki has decided that he's a bit of a crack addict when it comes to biscuits. And he wants to wake up multiple times throughout the night, but he likes to snuggle as well. with humans. So he wants to snuggle with humans, but periodically get up, go have some biscuits, and then come back and snuggle again. And it's just a disturbing process, as in it disturbs you. It doesn't seem like much, but you do that 4 or 5 times and you end up with a pretty wrecked sleep schedule. Do you ever replace the edge bonding? No, I don't actually. You can get stuff, but I admit I don't. I don't know many people who do it all. B-Blood. Our cat does that in the evening as well. Tells us when we should all sleep. Yeah, it's funny how they can do that. Any tips to remove a 2017 MacBook Pro slight fan tick at low RPM? New fan. I think once you knock those things, there's not much you can do. It's like Clinton with the greenies. I haven't actually... What does he do with the greenies? I never seem to catch those videos. So that's a healthy looking SMC there. Okay, we'll clean that up and prepare that to be redone. Cats are cute, weird and funny. They can also be very painful, yes. Oh gosh, I've got scratches all over me from cats, but anyone who has a couple of them, or even one, will typically be covered in scratches. The other thing is, of course, we do have the foster care wildling cats, and that complicates the issue slightly, because what will happen is, if the foster care wildling cats happen to try and visit through the night, it disturbs ours, and ours kick up a fuss, and they're like, yeah, how dare you let those non-family cats come around here, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so ours will kick up a fuss, particularly Loki. He'll like, how dare this even happened? And yeah, he'll let you know he's upset. And yeah, you won't get any real sleep from that. Where's my toothbrush? There it is. Now the way to fix that is I've got to finish doing the backyard enclosures, the wedge, all sorts of things. But of course, in order to do that, you need to have sleep so that you feel well rested to go out there and do all that hard labour work. But you're not going to feel that way because you've been kept awake all night by the dramas. So it's a real catch-22 or hole in the bucket problem. Okay, we're just drying this off because we don't want excess flux interfering with the process. Cat whisperer gets scratched in the face because I thought I was whispering moth. You can always depend on cats to do things like that. Video is looking great at 128720. Peter Allen's, you should be able to get 1080 out of that, but this at the moment is only 30 frames per second. So I think maybe I'll be buying a 60 frames per second camera. Although I've got to admit, I'll be very upset to actually change this one because I went through a lot of drama to find a good camera with a good adapter and all that sort of stuff. However, if I get the same interface, like the threaded C mount, and if it's using a 1/3 inch sensor, then I probably will be able to get away with it. Have you tried using electronics contact cleaner for flux? I do have some of that around. I just generally don't like to use it on the MacBook boards because you spray it and it does work well for the area that you spray it, but there's always a fringe mark. Yeah, where it sort of pushes out things like the flux and the dirt, but it doesn't get a chance to lift it off. Morning, Rod Rogers. Alright. Stencil's looking healthy. So here we go again. 60 frames per second at 30 frames per second out of the microscope, unfortunately. At least the overhead and the face are now at 60 or 50, close enough. Yeah, I don't think I'll be using MEK. I don't feel like dying in 10 years from some horrible, impossible to cure ailment caused by MEK. That's usually the way. The really good cleaners are the ones that you just really should not be using. Kind of like CFCs. CFCs are great, except for the environment. Okay, 1 down, 2 down. So Miles, weirdly I found circuit board cleaner makes Amtech 559 turn to chewing gum. Acetone is much better. I can't stand acetone. I know some people use it, but it's definitely on my will not use list. But interesting that it turns 559 into chewing gum. I found... yeah, no. I was going to say something, I realised it wasn't really relevant. Okay, bonk. As always, at least this part is the easy part. It's a few too many balls. I think I've just got one missing up there and there. Okay, that makes 2. I can count. Should be good. Tim loves acetone. Dear goodness. I'm gonna have words with that fellow. To think, all this time, I thought Tim and I got along, yeah, had very common interests and stuff like that, but now I find out he uses and likes acetone. I'm not sure I can deal with that. It's a deal breaker. Okay, so as we were discussing, what we're trying here is we're just trying to really heat things up a lot more, get some heat soak into the SMC and stuff like that, because yeah, we're just not getting the right sort of flux behavior. Okay, try that now. That was a dodgy as. That's a DAF. And of course now it's going to get cold, and yeah, that was definitely a DAF. Tim's young though, okay, yeah, that's true. But then, yeah, the other thing is, yeah, Tim is very conscious about health impacts on things. Get back down, you... To be fair, acetone isn't actually that bad for you, I don't think. It's just bad for plastic. Yeah, I do not have flux in enough places on this board. I feel like I'm gonna have to change my flux. Or maybe just get a tube that isn't 6 months out of date. Steve, I've got about a good couple of million of them at the moment. I bought a great big tub of them. But I really think my flux is actually what's giving me hell here. I don't know what's happened to that ball there. It looks kind of demented. Because there is the little container of .35s that you see me whip out for these jobs. That is just a container I fill up once in a blue far out. There was one ball there that wasn't in place. Alright, so do I gamble? I feel like gambling. I'm gonna gamble. I'm not even gonna put that stencil back on. I'm gonna really, probably, most likely, absolutely going to regret this. And I didn't. Oh well. That went back just fine on its own. No, I'm already down at 330 now, 320. It's actually the opposite problem. What's happening is the flux is not losing its viscosity quick enough with the heat, and so it retains too much surface tension when I go to put it on, and because of that surface tension, that tackiness, that's why it's pulling things out of the holes. Whereas previously there was enough heat, and maybe the flux was younger and whatever, and it would very quickly wick underneath, and the layer would be extremely thin, and so when I reheated it, it did not bubble out. But it seems all it does nowadays is bubble out because the layer is too thick. Yeah, I need to put that one there. Where's that board? Does room temperature? Not to the same degree, no. 220, 250. Well, the thing is, it worked beautifully before in the 300, low 300s. Now, of course, dropping way down will, of course, help in the sense that there's not going to be that sort of energy to push the balls up and out with the flux. So, in that respect, I suppose it would work. Crud, what a wreck. That was a genuine mercy moment. What is it, getting late? Oh crike, yeah, 1:30. I'm up well past my bedtime. Oh well. Yeah, that's ample flux. Hey John, yes, that's right. Same up here, of course. A fire truck. I should do it. Yeah, Steve Cave, I've got the 60 frames per second. Is the local humidity likely to affect? That's a good question. Mind you, to be fair, I've been having this issue quite a period of time now, so it sort of isn't really applicable. And this is also air conditioned in here. By the way, for those thinking 60 frames per second, this camera itself though is only 30. But when I switch to the overhead and the webcam, they are 50 and 60 respectively. Like I said, it used to work perfectly fine, and as far as I can tell, it is definitely more... the viscosity of the flux is not dropping fast enough. That's fundamentally what the issue is. What I should do is just simply get new flux. As you can see, this flux, it's old and gnarly looking, it's out of date. The other tube I've got is also out of date, but it hasn't been exposed to the sun or anything like that, so it's possible that it may be okay. Did it jump one wrong way? No, not that I'm aware of. It just does that. That's a normal sort of shift pattern it does. I'll have a look, but it seemed alright to me, I think. Damn it, creature. I don't know whether you're trolling me today.